So another day went by, another piece of my fractured ribs. So lately I've been feeling weird. Seasons change, which is good. Some seasons are pleasant, some seasons are not pleasant. And lately I've been feeling come on. I've been feeling the worst, which is good. Which is good for me. And it stems from being disconnected from myself. The fact that I don't really know who I am. In the past and even now, I dilute myself. I paint myself with different colors of the people I meet in order to fit in order to feel a sense of connection. I abandoned my values, I've abandoned my convictions for the sake of belonging to a particular group of people, for the sake of feeling like I am needed. Even though I'm just me, you know. I've I've walked through the fire, if that metaphor fits to belong. I have changed myself. I have created so many personalities to fit with a specific group of people. And pushed myself down this bottomless pit where now I have to dig in to find myself, which is not easy. When you have dug a grave so deep for the longest of times, you've just kept on digging, you just kept on digging, you just kept on digging. It's tough to get out, it's very, very tough to get out. It's not easy. And people don't understand that. They don't understand how it feels. Like maybe some people do. Some people won't accept the feeling that they be feeling. I'm genuine like that. I will say my piece. But because now there are these terms, trauma bonding, trauma dumping, whatever these therapy terms that people be tossing around, I feel like I don't need to say anything anymore. I don't need to vent out. Like, even though this is a form of venting, but I might just be talking to my camera, Someone might just see this and just scroll over. What the fuck is this? Nobody really cares on the internet what you're going through, so that's just that. I'm just dealing with myself. At the end of the day, I have to deal with myself. And every distraction, every single thing that comes in the way of that needs to be curbed out. You know, and I've agreed, I have agreed, I have congratulated, I have shaken hands to things that go against what I have faith in, that goes against my convictions, that go against everything that I stand by, but I have congratulated them for the sake of belonging. Because I feel like if I don't act like this particular group of people, I'll never be accepted. If I am myself, I'll never be accepted. And for as long as I can tell, I've been proven to be right. I will always preach, diversify your bonds, blah 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 blah. That is good. That is good, but to an extent, once you start to feel disconnected, once you start to feel like you're losing yourself, that's when you have to accept what is. You know, you can be in a train of thought with different people, on the same train, and you might think we're going to the same place, but now when the train stops and you realize, you perceive whatever you choose, whatever term you choose to put in here, that this is my station. You need to get off. It is your station. You need to get off. That's all it is. The longer you stay, the longer it's gonna cost to go back. I think that's a saying somewhere. I don't know. Regardless of the case. And right now, I need to get off. I need to be by myself. And I don't mean wearing a black hoodie, with all that unapproachable aura. No, that's not really me anymore. That's some high school stuff. I just need to find myself. That's all it is. I just need space, time for myself and for the things that will probably, most likely help me, you know, build up a ladder and crawl out of this hole I've dug myself. And hopefully I come out a different person. Hopefully I come out stronger and being able to stand for what I believe, because I've betrayed myself so many times. I've betrayed myself so many times for the sake of fitting in. That has always been my problem. That has always been my problem. When you want to be understood so bad that you feel like you have so much. You feel like you have so much to share. You feel like your words can actually transform a person. You know, you have that spirit of discernment. You are able to perceive things differently, and mostly this is because of the way I was brought up. But that's a topic for another day. Right now I don't feel like I need anyone. you know this is something that I must do on my own. This is something that, regardless of how long it takes, it's either I do this or I die. Then I don't want to kill myself. I thought I'd be dead right now. I'm still here. Like I said, I'm still here. Clearly I am here for a reason, but I won't know what that reason is until I know myself. Yes, I'm pursuing things I have passion in, and that ultimately bring into full view aspects of my purpose. But I won't fully know what my purpose is until I know myself. Know thyself. Sorry. Know thyself. That is the only way I'm gonna be at peace with myself. And if I continue betraying myself, if I continue staying on this train that leads nowhere, I'm just gonna end up with myself, because I have intellectualized the idea of suicide to a point where it makes sense for me. Mind you, I have a family. I have 2 brothers, and I have to make right by them. I literally have to make right by them. And killing myself is not making right by them, regardless of what they get of my life insurance. I'm not there, and again, I've built up so much resistance for stuff. I have struggled so much to a point where I will literally say, with my chest raised up high and my shoulders pushed back, that I have raised myself. I have raised myself. And it doesn't really bother me. I've learned so much from the experiences that I've had. I have matured before my time. I was given a crown before I matured, I guess. So I was forced to adopt a mindset of an adult. I was forced to be something that I was way too young to be. But you gotta take what life offers and make something out of it. And now I don't want to betray myself anymore. I don't want to paint myself with different colors, with different shades, just to belong. I am tired of myself. You know, then I want to know who I am and what makes me tick, I want to know so much. And I, the way I'm currently going, I'm not gonna, as I've said, this is not me cutting people out. This is no, I'm just choosing to be on my own. And at some point, probably I will be able to define the term alone, redefine it, give it new meaning, because I obsess over little things. I like to ask the why. I like to ask, why are you acting like this? I like to ask, why aren't you acting according to your beliefs? I like to ask these questions. That is me. I can go for hours just talking about things I don't understand, only to figure out that I was right to some extent, even though I was wrong on this, on that. But that's just me. And I like to talk about things that give me value, that add something to my life. You know, and in that sense, I am lonely. In that sense, you know, people don't want to have those type of conversation in length. They want to talk about that. They want to talk about soccer. They want to talk about the news. They want to talk about the new album that dropped. They want to talk about whatever, and I don't really care about those stuff. I don't. Honestly, I do not really give a fuck about whatever is going on in the world as far as I'm concerned. Even though maybe I have to know to some extent, but it doesn't serve me. Like, it doesn't serve me. If something doesn't add value to my life, then there is no need for it. You know, if what you are doing is going against my values, against my convictions, there is no need for me to keep you around. You're just gonna sully my vibe. That is all it is. I do not have to paint myself with your shade to belong. You know, I need to find myself. So, and in finding myself, I'll probably focus more on just posting on YT and DT. You know. So yeah, that's about it from me.